Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, brother. Why? We're talking about Ronda Rousey. Hot Ronda. Why is Ronda in the WWE? Did Ronda take away every single woman's moment from the historic first Royal Rumble? Or did Ronda Rousey take what the likes of Paige, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss have built and brought it a step up? That's what we're going to talk about, because we are legitimately going to look at Ronda Rousey objectively and why Ronda Rousey coming in the WWE is a great thing. Why it can help elevate this women's division to the next level. Now, for those that don't know or don't follow or don't care to follow a guy like Dave Meltzer, who I appreciate Dave Meltzer more and more because he basically puts out a generalization. People make an assumption. He basically says that if anybody actually feels, because obviously the women that, have an issue with the fact that Ronda showed up at the Rumble speak out on Twitter. Twitter and social media is a huge part of WWE storylines these days. It's legitimately used to push storylines. So to call out Ronda Rousey on social media for being involved at the Royal Rumble is smart. It's something that they should do. Charlotte should call out the fact that it took attention away from that moment that Ronda came in. And then you had Stephanie that entire time at the Royal Rumble. Stephanie, to me, made the Royal Rumble. When it was announced that Stephanie McMahon was going to be on commentary, the initial reaction was because, of course, she just has to be a part of everything. She just has to try to ruin it. And I'm sitting here going, have you watched WWE in the past 20 years? Because the boss getting involved now with the women's storyline is huge. Like, we would not have had a WWE if not for Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. By starting this women's revolution, we're probably going to see somebody start to stunner Stephanie McMahon. When the Authority puts their foot down and when Stephanie interjects herself like this, there's going to be some comeuppance down the road. Stephanie already took a bump last year through the table for Seth Rollins and Triple H, so if you really want to talk about it, guys, Stephanie's willing to take those bumps. And then during the Rumble, she's playing, everybody thinks she might be in the Rumble. They're talking about why is she out here? People are kind of losing their minds, taken away from the moment. But again, look at the resentment. Look at what that does to a storyline perspective. Asuka won the Rumble. And afterwards, Ronda Rousey came out afterwards in Roddy Piper's jacket that was given to her by his son. That is huge. One of the smartest takes I've seen on this is actually from Jim Cornette. Because Jim Cornette had talked about Ronda Rousey and how he would possibly book her for a year. Didn't put a lot of time into it, but kind of in this 18-minute video, goes over not knowing anything about why Ronda's back. And really kind of makes you realize dang. I don't look at fantasy booking anymore as what I expect to have happen. I just do it so I can write and think about it. And if it doesn't happen, I just don't get upset because what's going on in here is not what's going on in the WWE writer's room. So to see Stephanie McMahon be basically ringside, for those that don't follow NFL or don't know, the quarterback, the ex-quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, Tony Romo, is now an announcer on Fox Sports. Tony Romo's on Fox Sports. And when he commentates a game because of his history, and the funniest part is they actually did a montage of him commentating over his own plays, which was hilarious, by the way. He basically call out the action ahead of time. So when Stephanie McMahon is commentating the Rumble and giving attention to it, this is like Vince McMahon and Gorilla Monsoon. This is history. Stephanie McMahon being involved in this, being ringside, interjecting herself, is more quality than anything WWE has done. If you really want to look at it, and I saw a lot of joke tweets, well, the men have a part-timer, now the WWE women have a part-timer in Ronda Rousey. But she doesn't have to be a part-timer. We don't know if she's here full-time, part-time. Heck, we don't know if she's stopping by. Heck, we don't know if she just showed up to point the sign one time. But what we do know is Ronda Rousey is a big draw. And guys like Meltzer point to the fact that even when she fights or loses, she still has 10 to 13 million plus Google searches. And that's huge. WWE needs a TV deal. We all love NXT, and we all think NXT is great and Raw shouldn't be 3 hours. But let's be honest, over the past 3 years, if it hadn't been for that third hour of Raw, as much as we don't want to admit it as WWE fans, Triple H would not have had as much freedom to be able to have NXT as great as it is. We complain about cutbacks right now about Pyro, but if WWE wouldn't have added that third hour when they did, and they didn't get a bigger TV deal, we may not even have had pyro to begin with for the last 5 years. So when you look at things in cutback terms, they're cutting back, but they're signing more people than ever. If I can lose some pyro, but I get guys like Johnny Gargano, Ricochet, when you build up the talent pool, it works. Because pyro is great, and I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to say that, you know, we should not have pyro, because it's been a big part of the show, and I love it. But the same thing, like when Stephanie gets involved, there's probably reasons. And that's one of the things in these wrestling discussions that I want to have, because you kind of have to look at things objectively. Now, granted, if you're a passionate wrestling fan, maybe you can't. Maybe you're the biggest Kane mark in the world. That's definitely not me. But if you're a big fan of somebody, and you really truly care, you do get sucked in, and you do get vocal about it. If you are a big fan of somebody in that Women's Royal Rumble, and Asuka came in and took it away, and she won the Rumble, and you became a fan of Asuka, but then Asuka didn't even get her moment. She didn't even get to pick champion. And then Ronda Rousey comes out, and you're like, well, wait a minute. But then you have Shayna Baszler down in NXT, and some people said, I don't want to watch an NXT match like that. I don't want to watch a UFC fighter come in, and I'm just sitting there, you know, thinking back to how Jim Cornette had kind of booked this. And I really do encourage you to go listen to how Jim Cornette would book it. And like I said, I don't listen to very often like how to book things, even though that I occasionally do them, like I said, just to write, not that I actually want or expect it to come true. I just love writing, and, you know, writing in WWE is the one thing I can do now because I kind of have a wrestling audience. So when you look at what WWE is doing, the fact that Stephanie McMahon was there and she was literally calling this stuff out, like, why is Ronda Rousey signed? I don't know, King, I'm just as surprised as you. And it's like, that's like what the men have, right? This is true equality in 2018, and I love it. I love the fact that they have Ronda Rousey. I love the fact that WWE gets it. I love the fact that we can criticize Raw or SmackDown for keeping people off TV, but Triple H is given that luxury with NXT and only has a pay-per-view every couple months. It's a lot easier when you film TV like that not to keep people on. Because you only have an hour, you can only, you know, get so many people on. So if they're off TV for a couple weeks, it's fine. Well, no, Triple H makes sure when they're on TV, it's impactful. You basically are building a highlight reel for the pay-per-view. It's kind of the way I look at it. In NXT, you get those bang, bang, bang moments, so when the pay-per-view comes with those 5 or 6 matches, everything that you've shot on NXT television translates. But in WWE, especially with the women's division, is we've had this revolution, is we've brought, from years ago, hashtag Give Divas a Chance. They've started to slowly, more and more main event. The fact that the Women's Royal Rumble main event is huge. The fact that Ronda Rousey is here is huge. Like I said, I don't know if she's going to be a part-timer or full-timer, but she has name recognition. And I know some UFC fans are going to look at the fact that she lost. She has losses. We'll also look at the fact that Brock Lesnar had 2 big losses, and you could blame that to diverticulitis, but when he went back to UFC to face Alistair Overeem, which turned out not to be a very smart decision, he was still over with the fans. The fans didn't care because he had that pedigree. He was a former champion. He beat Frank Mir. It doesn't take it away from him. So the fact that Ronda Rousey is here, that's going to try to draw in those MMA fans. And the big thing that people are kind of missing is MMA, boxing, and wrestling are changing. Boxing is still, you know, I want to say a sport. MMA is still a sport, but there's entertainment aspects being brought out because of the fact that they were bought out by an entertainment company. You're starting to see these big super fights. You're starting to see after Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather where they can realize they just create their own drama and they can get paid. They can make this into a big deal. So MMA and WWE have huge opportunities for crossovers, especially with the history. Because at the end of the day, you're putting out a product for the fans. You're putting out an entertainment product. So the fact that we have Ronda Rousey now in the WWE, that can help elevate the next TV deal. I just think back to when WWE made that decision to go to 3 hours. I was one of the most vocal opponents of this 3 hour. But it was just last year that I went, you know what? But if it wasn't for that 3 hours, we couldn't have got all these signings. We couldn't have got everything that we have. We're talking about cutting pyro now, but as great as it is, we have Asuka. We have Charlotte. We have Becky Lynch. We have Ricochet. We have Candice LeRae. We have so many awesome women. We have Kairi Sane. We have Shayna Baszler. There's so much talent right now that I think we get caught up on the little aspects in wrestling And we forget the bigger picture, which is Ronda Rousey is in the WWE. Ronda Rousey, one of the most vicious, dominant, one of the most commandeering of the media spotlight badasses in history, is in the WWE. I think you're wrong to discount the fact that she's here. I think you're wrong to think that she's not going to help. But just because I think you're wrong doesn't mean I'm right or you're actually wrong. It's just a belief, and it's just my thought. Because as these women call them out, I'm sure there's some that are actually kind of upset, right? I think to Dave Meltzer's point, that the counterpoint to Dave Meltzer is there's probably some women that do harbor some, backstage, like, man, we've been grinding here all the time. Then you see Cody Rhodes put out a tweet, which, he kind of goes back and forth a little bit. He says he got asked with 5 questions last night with hashtag #AllIn2018. Cody, what about the people that kind of like Vince kind of buries? He's like, Vince doesn't do anything. Most time the talents are getting lazy, and he brings up a story about himself. But then the fans come out and go, no, that's not why. Like, Cody just told you. And I get we live in a world where kayfabe and everything, and that's how wrestlers get paid. Having a story, if you leave a company, it kind of fuels your next venture. Austin Aries may have legitimate heat, but he took that heat and turned it into legitimate. He's chasing titles everywhere. Emma, who was finally starting to look great in the WWE, has now gotten released, and she already has a huge list of shows being booked. This is good for women's wrestling, and I don't know, it may push some women farther down the line that, may be deserving of an opportunity, but more people are going to see those women because of Ronda Rousey. So WWE fans, we may be caught in a bubble, and I'm just telling you as somebody that was in that bubble. Look bigger than WWE. Look outside of wrestling and realize WWE has something special here. Ronda Rousey is special. Ronda Rousey needs to be in the WWE. Ronda Rousey, or even somebody like Rob Gronkowski, who, teased his retirement, is huge. We don't like celebrities at WrestleMania, but we forget that WrestleMania became a thing because of celebrities. So I implore you, hopefully, to take another look at it. I hope if you're one of the people that don't like Ronda, I hope we can objectively have this conversation about why Ronda could be great. Now, none of us know if she will turn out to be great, if it'll fail. None of us know if she'll be here after Mania. There's talks about Rock and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie. There's talks about, her teaming up with somebody. But at the end of the day, she's here. She's going to help the division. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, because this is a discussion. This isn't me telling you something. This is just us legitimately trying to have a discussion. So make sure to follow me on social media. You can follow me at Tubby Emu. And also, guys, make sure if you are subscribed, you hit that notification button for videos. If you guys do if you have any Ronda Rousey friends or fans that may like or dislike Ronda, send them this video and get them involved. Ask them why or why not. Why don't you like Ronda Rousey? Because you could legitimately just maybe I'm the biggest Charlotte fan in the world, and she's here to take that spot. I'm not okay with that, brother. Charlotte needs to be to the top. That's legitimate wrestling passion, and that's what wrestling is. But to be closed-minded about Ronda, don't be sleeping on the girl. Don't be sleeping on one of the biggest badasses in the world. Ronda Rousey's here. She's not going anywhere. And I, for one, can't wait to see what comes next. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. And until next time, it's your boy Tubby Emu, and we will see you all later.